Yeah, I'll start. Ralph, good afternoon. Good to see you. In terms of team news with Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire and so on, how are we looking this weekend?
Harry is back in training. He trained the whole week since the day after, or the second day after the Brentford game. He resumed for training, so he will be available for tomorrow and be part of the group. Edison is in training, obviously. He came on as a sub. Marcus Rashford will be missing. He has caught up a bronchitis with high temperatures, so he won't be able to be part of the group. And we have a question mark behind Eric Bailly. He called the doctor this morning and had some back problems with his back, and he's being checked right now, and we will have to see if he will be able to train afterwards.
How tough are these final two games for you as manager in terms of making sure the mindset's right and making sure that you do push those teams around you all the way to the end?
Well, I think the last two home games, we got 4 points out of the two home games against Chelsea and against Brentford. And we spoke already after the game about the Brentford game. That was one of our best games in possession of the ball, and also one of our best games in the last six months. And I'm positive that the team will try to play on the same kind of level tomorrow at Brighton and in 2 weeks' time against Crystal Palace. This is once again our job. What I liked about the game is that you could see that they had fun playing together, that they were enjoying themselves on the pitch. And this is exactly the kind of approach that we need for tomorrow's game as well.
Ralph, in terms of the future, we've spoken a lot about your thoughts, but when do you speak to Ten Hag? When do you offer your opinions to the board? When do you give an overview of where Manchester United are? Because obviously you've only got 2 games left now.
Yeah, we will definitely speak at the end of the season. Both Eric and myself want to have our full focus on the outstanding games. He has another 3 games to play and will do everything to try and win the title and the league in the Netherlands. And we have agreed that we will have a chat and speak about everything at the end of the season.
And in terms of, you mentioned there about it looked as though the players were having fun. Fun's not a word that's been used a lot around Manchester United this season. Do you get the impression that there is a group there who do want to succeed, that do want to improve this situation?
Well, I think it was visible against Brentford. This was not only my subjective opinion. I think you could see that they enjoyed themselves on the pitch. This does not mean that everything was perfect, but in possession, as I said, we were controlling the game. And with regard to next season, there will be some changes, quite obviously, because there are quite a few players whose contracts are expiring. And I think we spoke about that earlier on with the right new players to join us here, plus the players who are already here and have longer term contracts. In the end, it's also a thing that needs to be discussed with Eric and the board. Eric needs to tell the board with which players he wants to work. But I'm positive that with the right new players plus the players who are already here, the pathway could be into a very positive one, and this is what we all will try to achieve.
Ralph, you talked about some of the players that are out of contract at the end of the season. One of those is Jesse Lingard, who didn't feature on Monday night. His brother has said it was classless this week not to give him one final game at Old Trafford. I wondered what your reaction was to that, and why also you feel he hasn't featured almost at all this year, only 4 starts across all the competitions.
Well, to start with, I think in the last couple of weeks under my tenure, he has played far more games than he used to before I came. That's just to start with. Number 2, on game day against Chelsea, he contacted me in the hotel and asked me to release him from the game and to also release him from the training session the following day or the 2 days after the Chelsea game for some personal family reasons. And I also allowed him to do that. And this was also the reason with only 3 subs. Still, unfortunately, in all the other leagues you have 5 subs. I had to take a decision between bringing on Edison Cavani or Jesse Lingard, or even the young Alejandro Garnacho, whom I also would have loved to bring on and give him a chance after being 3-0 up and another 15 minutes to play. But I took the decision to bring on Edison for the very reasons I just explained to you. And I don't know. I mean, hadn't I brought on Edison Cavani, maybe somebody else would have posted it was classless not to bring on Edison Cavani, or somebody else might have posted why didn't the manager bring on the young Alejandro Garnacho. With only 3 subs and 2 already had been done, or the first one had already been done, you have to take a decision, and that this will not be to the liking of everybody is also part of the game.
The mood has been mentioned a lot around Manchester United this season, but little things like that coming from even outside the camp, how frustrating and how counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve has that been?
To be honest, I'm not reading a lot. I haven't had the time in the last 6 months to read. I'm not on Instagram, as you know, on FaceTime. I'm not at all in Facebook. I'm not engaged in those areas. So, and this is my focus has always been here with my coaching staff to develop the team. It's always and in those days with social media, there's always somebody posting something. And I think it's important for us, for anybody in the club, not to take too much notice of that. Unless it's the player himself, then it might be a different story.
Eric, you mentioned that Harry Maguire is sort of fit and available. Should we expect him to start tomorrow?
Well, this is a decision I have to make after training today. And obviously I don't want to tell our opponents with which lineup we are going to start, but he will definitely be part of the group.